Hello and welcome to Screen Views. I'm Dave.
I'm James.
And this is the special Minisode where we look back at the month's reviews and discuss our favourites.
This episode is still unscripted and unedited, but the Minisode contains no spoilers, so just kick back and enjoy the conversation.
Our aim is to get you excited about our previous reviews, hidden gems and upcoming releases.
We hope you enjoy it and feel free to tell us why, so like, comment and subscribe.
Hello.
Hello.
Here we are.
Yes, we are.
Another month.
Yeah.
Another Minisode.
Yes, it is.
Time is flying.
Yeah.
Flying by. We're not getting through enough, I feel.
Yeah, we do apologise. We are going to get on this soon. Just that we are actually superheroes, and the crime in this country has just gone up. I mean, we can't devote this time to. I don't know. I'm not trying to get political here.
Surely, if we were superheroes and we were busy, crime would go down. Yeah. So we're obviously not doing a very good job.
I probably need to help. It's if they carry on doing what they're doing.
Neighbourhood.
Yeah, people keep saying that jaywalking is not illegal, but I swear it is. Okay, seen it in all the films.
In America,
loads of people. Do you think superheroes impose laws that people don't want like jaywalking? It's like, stop, you're jaywalking, and stop. Sort of act as a police into like just the silly things like that's insurance fraud. Stop that.
No,
I know in the movie there's all
they tend to worry about the world-ending stuff a bit more, don't they?
But it's quiet days.
It would be funny to see an OCD superhero. They just wouldn't get anywhere, would they?
No.
They'd go out their house and they'd be so busy trying to stop people from breaking the law.
Superman will be pushing people in the right pocket position. Thinking, that's wrong. Inside the lines. Come on, inside the lines. Yeah.
I think they'd be exhausted.
Yeah.
Too much.
But this is we're doing a TV minisode.
Yeah.
So Superman isn't a TV show. So maybe let's course correct that. Maybe the Flash would be doing something to push cars and
yeah.
Actually, no. Superman's in the Supergirl series. So
is it?
It's still relevant.
Still relevant to TV. Just
boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Hello.
Welcome so we're kind of limited with our choices for the minisode,
yep.
But unlike the film, we're a bit further ahead, so we can actually do a minisode, unlike the film minisode, which we did last week, which is out there. If you want to have a listen to that, that's just a bit more of a roundup this month, where as in this TV episode, we can actually talk about our highlights, lowlights, and hidden gems a bit more.
Yeah.
So do you want to start off, James? Do you want to talk about your highlight? And your limited choice of Safe, Happy, and The Handmaid's Tale?
I mean, it's live. It has to be Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, for me.
Yeah, it's Handmaid's Tale is something which there's nothing negative to it. I stopped watching Handmaid's Tale, but I can't tell you exactly why. I think it's just because we could have fallen out of a loop with it. I know it's going to be just as good when I pick it up again.
Yeah.
I'm not really eager to pick it up again. I feel like the world isn't going on about it. It's not like Game of Thrones is something, even though there was Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is clearly something which is worldwide, and the whole world buzzes about it, and it's about conversations and in the workplace, the conversation with friends afterwards, and it's a big thing. But I don't really get the sensation of Handmaid's Tale.
I think that is happening a bit, but I agree. It's perhaps not as much. And it's a shame because it is such a good show for the time as well. That I think with everything that's going on in the world, it just fascinates me that the show, after what did we work out how many years was it? 30 years.
Yeah,
a long time since it was written. The book, the original book, and it's still relevant, so relevant, and it just shows how a lot has changed, in terms of technology, how we, just our everyday lives have changed so much, but the big picture hasn't changed that much, and that sort of goes for historically, and I think that's quite interesting.
The first time I experienced that was with 1984. You were just reading this book, which is not relevant. It's a futuristic view of something which is in the past, and still it's sort of it's
still true.
It's a mashup of what's to come and what's now and what's been in the past.
And I think this is they've done a good job of like linking it into current issues in the series as well. Yeah. But I'm like you, we sort of put it down about halfway through season 2, and I think and it's not because like it took a dip or anything, because that's what I was worried about with season 2, because I think season 2 they get beyond the book. So you're sort of like, oh well, they've got to make stuff up now. You sort of think, well, is it going to be as strong? Is it going to be as powerful? And it was good. So I think we just sort of put it down to try and focus on other stuff for the podcast, really. But it's good. I think if anyone hasn't seen The Handmaid's Tale yet, I would thoroughly recommend it.
I'm hoping, because they don't tell me what's happened. I'm hoping that the story stays away from that main government. I love a story which is set in a world which isn't about the world, which isn't about the actual event. It's like I love the film Looper, because Looper is about a guy who goes back in time to stop this huge thing happening, and the huge thing is the main film, and Looper seems like a sequel. And I love the way this isn't about a girl trying to bring down the government, and she knows every single high up person in this government place to bring it all down. It's just it's her story, and I kind of like the idea of her going away and her traveling and trying to get away from this place and seeing different places in this world. I kind of like the way this story is not the main story which is happening in the world. So I did quotation marks then, like on the podcast. Not the main story that's happening in the world, but it's still an interesting story, and I kind of like the way it's side skirts. It's very real, it's very raw, and
it gets into the nitty gritty of being in a oppressive system as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
which I think is quite good.
Yeah, and and as soon as I saw that, and the woman who plays Aunt Lydia in in Hereditary, I was like, ooh, yeah. Do you know a show just lifted up this platform of actors. So when I see him in something else, I'm paying more attention.
Yeah,
I've seen him in this product. And why have they chosen to do this now? Because obviously, I don't know. When you see someone in a high up in a role like in Handmaid's Tale, I feel like they made the choice to be in this sort of artistic show. So you sort of look out for what other choice did they make, and thinking, they just did not for a reason. And
yeah.
So it just brings my attention up when I'm looking at all the other characters.
Yeah. So
but
definitely the highlight.
Yeah. And now the
should we go for the lowest point of this month, James?
Oh, it's difficult.
It's
really difficult.
I think we're quite agreed this month as well, which is not always the case.
I would say the low point for me is happy.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you might say that.
Yeah.
I think. See, I'm going to go for safe, and we can maybe discuss why. So, why would you put happy below safe?
I felt like happy. I felt like they were both very disappointing in a lot of areas, but I felt like safe in some areas succeeded to do exactly what it's meant to do. Not many times, like say the family, the family who have got the body. It's a Minisode, so I'm not no spoilers.
Yeah.
So there's a side family, which I've in the episode I said like how I really enjoyed all them actors. I thought they worked really well together.
Yeah.
And I also felt like whenever you're creating a family dynamic in TV shows, sometimes you can't. The personalities, the looks will match, but the personalities will match.
Yeah.
But in terms of the personality of the daughter, the personality of the mother, the personality of the dad, it just makes sense. It makes sense the daughter is who she is in comparison to the mother and the father. The father tried to think he's clever and tried to think he's clever and thinks really fast. The mother's more gentle, slow, but not as brave. And I think the daughter's sort of a brilliant amalgamation of the both of them. I also think his Dan, the guy who plays the main character's best friend, I always think he's a fantastic actor, and his character was pretty diluted. But I thought whenever the actor needed to be there, he was there, and he played the character as well as he could have done. There's not that many good things about either show, but I felt like Safe didn't try as... I felt like with Happy, it tried so hard at so many different things. And because it tried so hard at so many different things, I can just see more and more examples of failures.
Right.
Because it tried and failed, tried and failed.
Yeah.
And I mentioned in my podcast, I only laughed, I think it's three to four times.
Yeah.
And now that was only in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, you see, like I'm just sort of thinking whilst you're talking there. You know, I think one, you know, you see, the Safe, like maybe because I've only seen one episode of Happy, I'm less sort of disappointed by it.
Yeah.
Whereas Safe, I've sort of seen the whole thing, so I can maybe judge it a bit more. But maybe that's where I should put Happy as the low point, because I only, you know, I couldn't really get past that first episode. So, you know, I think I don't know. I think for me, I sort of was thinking, well, actually, Happy should be the the surprise, because I thought I was going to really like Happy. You know,
still got to do a surprise. So
forget about that. No. So, well, I mean, you've only got one. I suppose. If you mix it up. Yeah. So, I sort of think, you know, I think that's where I'm coming from, is what I'm trying to explain. By putting Safe as the low point, I'm sort of thinking, well, Happy was a surprise to me because I thought I'd like it. I thought it was going to be quite a solid show that would appeal to me.
Yeah.
It sounded like oddball enough, a little bit of maybe sort of like, you know, noir in there, a bit of Sin City, you know, enough to sort of, for me to like it, to really want to watch it. And, you know, from what I saw, I kind of think, well, I do think there's probably quite a lot of people out there who would watch Happy and absolutely love it. And I can sort of see why. Whereas I think a lot of people would watch Safe, and even people who aren't into filmmaking could still pick holes in Safe. And, you know, just from the accent alone, you know, like, I think that's going to put people off. So, you know, I think from that point of view, and like technically Happy, you know, I guess it's got some interesting things in it. It's got some interesting shots. I mean, maybe like I'm just sort of thinking, like, you know, they've got the unicorn that needed to be like
in the review. I said there's some amazing shots and sequences. However, I felt like it was sort of maybe filmed for a trailer. I'm thinking, yeah, that's good and that's interesting, that's good. But I just feel like you were just in a boardroom saying, we need to sell this show. We're going to film this scene, this scene, this scene, this and this scene. I'm going to make sure we put it in the trailer because that'll be a damn good trailer.
Yeah. It was that substance over style again. Like, it feels like Happy went for style and lack of substance, and it didn't quite work.
No.
And then Safe went for substance over style.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite work. It's like, you know, I think you have to find a balance between the two, don't you? And it is like that thing where it's like, I think the risk that you always run with going with the kind of trailer Happy style is that, you know, the lack of absolute substance means that you can't like get to grips with it, because it doesn't ever sit. Because the one thing that you can say about Safe is it's oddly compelling. Like, it's, you know, you kind of you're kind of watching it and going, oh, this is not great, but I kind of want to know where they take this. And the more it goes on, the more you start to speculate about how ridiculous the final outcome could be. But, you know, it strings you along enough. Whereas Happy, I was just like, I watched one episode and I'm just like, I can walk away from this because I really do not care about any of the characters. You know, I don't really care about, you know, what happens to them. I don't, you know, the whole premise of the show is a girl gets kidnapped, and, you know, I just like,
Yeah.
there's no like build up to that. It happens quite quickly in the first episode. I don't think that's a spoiler.
No.
Like, and you're just like, well,
First scene.
you're just like, well, okay, like, like, should I be more concerned about people in the world that actually get kidnapped? I do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's sort of making the whole show makes a lot of assumptions about you as a viewer, in that it assumes that you're gonna like the main guy, even though he's a bit of a prick. It kind of assumes that you're going to care about the fact that a girl has been kidnapped, and that you want to know what the whole like mystery of how it's all connected. And I just really didn't care about any of it.
I think with the there was no breath of fresh air with Happy. I'm going to go back to it again. The family in Safe, because throughout the whole series, we kept it coming. No matter how ridiculous it got, we got a breath. I got a breath of fresh air with something that I enjoyed. Back to the main story. Breath of fresh air with something that I enjoyed. Then back to the main story.
Well, that's what I mean about something to string you along, something that's appealing. And I guess I think the only thing that you can sort of say is that if you like kind of a dark sense of humour, Happy might appeal a bit more. Yeah. Like, or a kind of twisted sense of humour, maybe. Because I feel like there was moments in there that, like, the programme wanted me to be, like, crying with laughter, and and it just wasn't my kind of humour, so I just wasn't sort of getting it. But then...
I would say if you're kind of humour and you're not very good at following storylines, I'll say Happy, it doesn't even expect you to follow. Yeah. Very basic.
Or if you don't care, it's not like if you can't follow story, because like if I think it's like do you really care about story, or do you want to just see some like interesting visuals and some people getting like violently hurt in various different ways?
They do something cheeky at the end in terms of like nod towards a new series, and it's they shouldn't have done it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to say what it is.
Spoilers.
I've always spoiled theirs. That doesn't end.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that you would put your surprise down as safe. Then.
Yeah. Just very good cast. Trying to think of the positives I've said about what I've liked about it. To the cast all round, it's a very good cast. Which sort of casting people in that show and convincing all the people to be on that show, very well done to the casting director. I might actually find out who that is.
Yeah,
because a very good combination of British stars.
Yeah. So, and I think like you say, it's got enough to keep you going.
Yeah. And I said it on my main podcast. Even the small people. There's a guy which plays the husband of the police officer. He's a really good actor. Really good actor. He has like this tiny role, and I really like seeing these great actors in like tiny miniature roles.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly what you're talking about there. Is the sort of drunk husband character? Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, there's I think so I mean maybe I would change that then and say see I think Safe was surprising for me because I put Happy down as the low point and then Safe as a surprise. What surprised me about Safe actually was the little moments with the actor, but also the fact that I was hearing a lot of negative stuff about Safe from people. Okay. And so going into it, I thought, I kind of thought it wasn't going to be great. I'm not saying that it, I mean, like we picked it apart quite a bit in the review, but I think one thing like I keep coming back to, like I say, is that it is compelling, and you do, and it's surprising in that how much you kind of want to watch it and want to follow it along.
Easy to watch. I mean, it's not like there's irritating, but it's not like it's like I can't watch the next episode. It's so irritating. No. Because it kept on. Like, one of my criticisms of like every episode, it kept on clearing the last episode up, and then it's just be like, and then it's a completely different thing, and so it's unpredictable in terms of like because it just keeps just zigzagging. back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And also chooses to care about some serious issues and then not care about serious issues. Yeah. And
it's like you only get to the end before you realise how annoyed you are. It's like
that's not a very good sell there.
So you'll make it all the way through. And then,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's lots of things which I've enjoyed about it. I enjoyed about it. And, yeah.
And I think so. I think somebody, if you like crime drama, go with Safe.
Yeah.
If you like sort of I don't know, comic book dark, twisted violence, gratuitous violence, is that the right word? Go with Happy. If you like a decent drama, go with Handmaid's Tale over both of those shows any day of the week.
Happy, in terms of the dark of its jokes, it does go very dark sometimes, very dark. In terms of, if you can make a checklist of dark stuff, it'll probably take quite a lot of.
Yeah, so I think if you've got that dark humour, that one would work out. But like I say, Handmaid's, hands down, Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Worst pun of the week.
Yeah, week over,
or month.
Yeah.
Okay, so hidden gems. So should we have a look at some hidden gems?
Oh, is that the one? Yeah. What have you been watching?
Well, I haven't really been. I've been struggling to keep up with what we're doing for the podcast.
Yeah.
But a good place to start is one program that we haven't covered, but I'm sure we'll get around to next season. I'll probably notify you when it comes out, James. But it might not be for a while now. But on Now TV and Sky, you can see a show. I think it's HBO. It's Billions.
Cool. With
Paul Giamatti
and
Damien
Lewis. Yeah, I love Damien Lewis.
Yeah, and the last season has got John Malkovich in it as well. Ooh. So there's some real big names that pop up, and like some cameos here and there that are quite cool. And it's just throughout got really good actors. The writing is incredible. And it's just a really good show to watch. It's not too heavy. So I think if you like something a bit more light, it can get intense at times, but most of the time it's kind of like, people. There's two kind of like male characters who are very egotistic, very narcissistic, and one's on one side of the law, one's on the other, and it's kind of like. It's about Damien Lewis owns a company that deals in stocks and shares, and so it's about that. And Giamatti is a district attorney, and he's trying to, stop people from breaking the law around stocks and shares. And
cool. Okay.
So it sort of gives you an insight into that world. So Billions comes from the fact that Damien Lewis is like this billionaire who runs this company and has a reputation for being very good at what he does. And it's just a really good show to watch in terms of something like, in terms of like big weighty kind of actors going head to head. It's got that really good appeal, and I feel like a bit like Handmaid's Tale, it's not a huge amount of people are talking about it.
No,
and I think they're churning out seasons. I think it's on like the fourth season now or so.
Damn.
So and I don't know whether it's bigger in America or than it is over here, but I feel like it's not being talked about as much as it perhaps should be. But
Damien Lewis American in it, or is he British?
American, I think. Yeah. So.
And he's very good at accents.
Yeah. I mean, again, it comes back around to the accent thing that we were talking about. So I don't know if like he has a good accent or not, because like it's hard to judge, is it? But anyway, I mean, I think he does a good job, and I think all the acting in it is great, and so I think that's a good one if you've got Now TV to check out. I don't know how much longer it'll be on Now TV, but definitely one to check out. In terms of Netflix, I went for the OA. In terms of a hidden gem, I think if anyone hasn't seen it, I think that's well worth checking out. And I'm sure they seem to be taking a while with season 2. But I'd say watch it, get ready for season 2 if it does eventually come. I think there's some really interesting stuff in that season. So if you like your kind of Stranger Things, it's got a bit of that going on.
Nice.
So it's kind of a good show if you're mourning the loss of Stranger Things. This is a good one to move over to. A bit like that other one that you were talking about. Is it Dark? Is it a German? Did you say there was a German?
Dark Water. No, that's an old Japanese film. But no, I think Dark. Yeah, I think it's Dark. Yeah. I've not seen it, but I've heard it's really good.
Yeah. So maybe that's something to check out again if you like that kind of fantasy kind of, but based in reality kind of real world. So the OA is about a woman or a girl that goes missing, and then she suddenly shows up again, and you're not quite sure what's happened to her, basically. And she starts acting quite strange.
Ooh.
So it's definitely worth a watch. It's definitely one, again, like Billions, I'm sure we'll review at some point, but I think it's out there. I think it's perhaps not got the recognition that it kind of deserves, so that's why I'm putting that one forward.
Cool.
Then for Prime viewers, I would definitely recommend checking out Marvelous Mrs. Maisel if you've not watched it, if I'm saying that right.
Is that the Australian?
It's the one that's written by the same person who did Gilmore Girls, and it's not about an Australian detective. It's about a female comedian in New York in, I want to say, 1950s.
Okay.
So it might be early 60s, but it's got some very recognisable people in it who I really can't remember the names of now or what they've been in. But because it's written by the same person who did Gilmore Girls, if you like Gilmore Girls, this is definitely a show to check out. It's really witty, really well written, very sharp, very quick-witted, lots of humour in there, a little bit of drama in there as well. Very female focused, so if you like a narrative with a strong female lead, it's got a lot of commentary about 50s housewives, and the expectations, and it sort of starts to go into some of the post-war changes around how women and starting to want to work and that sort of thing. And again, like the Gilmore Girls, it's got a very strong family dynamic, and each of the characters are given some like good parts in there, especially the sort of agent / bar / manager type character who starts to try and manage her as a comedian without giving too much away.
I'm looking at the poster now.
I think it's sort of one of those shows that the less you know, the better, and I've probably ruined it a little bit there. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. It's won awards like last year, I think. I think Prime like telling you that. And it's definitely worth a shout. So those are the 3 recommendations for this month.
Nice.
So if you're on Sky, Now TV, check out Billions. If you're on Netflix, search for the OA or possibly that Dark program. And then Marvelous Mrs. Maisel if you're on Prime.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of a weird one this month because looking forward last month, I think I mentioned a lot of shows that we didn't get round to, but we're maybe going to cover this month.
Yeah.
So in terms of a schedule, we keep talking about it. We need to do the Arrested Development podcast at some point.
Yeah.
We will get around to that. We've also got Glow. That's going to be my next suggestion.
Okay, yeah.
So I think I might have labelled it incorrectly as glamorous, but it's actually gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
And they are glamorous.
They are glamorous. Yeah. So you can see why I would make that mistake, James. But yeah, this is another female-focused show, which is by the Orange is the New Black team.
Yeah.
So I think that's next on the list after Arrested.
Yeah. And then Kate Nash is in it as well. Which,
yes, she is. Yeah.
I just heard an interview with her, and it just made me go, "Ooh, okay." Because Alison, the main actress
from Mad Men.
In Community. She's already one person which I'm like, ooh.
Oh yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
I'm really
I forget she's in Community. She's really good in.
I only know her from Community.
She's the two. So her and the woman who plays Liberty Bell. They're very good. Like all the actresses in this, or actors, should we say? Is it?
I can't remember. I think
it's actors now, isn't it? Yeah. So all the actors in this are great, male and female.
Yeah.
So the male comedian guy who's in it, who plays the director, who's very good.
There's a joke in like the first or second episode which is just harsh, but it's so funny.
Have you seen some?
I've seen the first half of the first series.
Oh, okay.
And there's a joke about. There's a joke which is just so harsh in it and just so funny.
Yeah.
And the joke, it's sort of like it's got like an okay humour to it.
Yeah.
And every now and again, it just hits you with a joke which you just don't realise is coming.
Yeah, and I think it does a good job. A bit like Orange is the New Black, of like, showing you all the characters and you get a feel for all of their personalities and their backgrounds and so it does a good job in that time. It kind of multi-stranded.
Yeah. And rights and wrongs are sort of like more elements of grey.
Yeah. The whole thing is just like greys. Yeah. So I think that might be something good to review this month.
Yeah, definitely gonna.
And then we've got Luke Cage. I suppose we need to get around that
I've
at
seen
some
one
point.
episode so far.
So that sort of needs no introduction, really. Another Netflix
we've done Luke Cage season 1, so.
Have we?
Did we? I thought we did.
Did we?
I know, we made just a Jessica Jones.
I think we talked about it.
Oh, I thought we did
possibly.
too. Yeah,
we didn't do Luke Cage. We haven't done it on the podcast. I know we've probably spoken about it at length.
Cool. Yeah.
Outside of the podcast, because we do talk to each other now and again.
Only when it's necessary.
When we're trying to avoid talking about stuff for the podcast.
Yeah.
And then Goliath. We need to get to Goliath.
Oh yeah. Amazon,
Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah. So Billy Bob Thornton plays a lawyer in that, and it's really good. So it's again got some really good actors in it, other than Billy Bob. So those are kind of the looking forward to this month. I think it's really difficult to keep up with all the new releases because there's something every day. Yeah. And I keep trying to find like a central place that says, outlines all of the kind of streaming TV things that come up, but I can't really find a good website for it.
Well, I've seen quite a lot of websites. I've seen quite a lot of them, but because they're all American. They talk about the new releases for the top releases for this month for Netflix, but because it's in America, it just doesn't match up with it in the UK. And it's just
but that's the other thing that annoys me as well, is that they always break it down into like Netflix and Now TV and like Amazon, and I kind of want a central place of all three together. Yeah, and I don't want films as well. Like I found sites that will talk about all the Netflix releases, but they put all the films and all the TV together. Yeah. You can't like filter them. So, yeah. Anyway, so if any listeners out there know of a good streaming or VOD schedule sites, then feel free to let us know. That would be good. Yeah. Going forward beyond, some stuff. There's like I say, there's stuff coming out all the time, but looking forward beyond this month, we'll maybe talk about these in a bit more detail, but some note of coming up as Sharp Objects,
Okay.
Good Girls, and then maybe Cloak and Dagger as well.
Sharp Object. I've heard something about Sharp Object recently. I heard it's really. I listened to a podcast
Right.
based on it.
Yeah, it's Amy Adams, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go.
And it's sort of a crime drama mystery, but it looks quite good. I think it's about a reporter who comes back to her hometown to report on a murder or something, and then she starts to discover things about herself that she's maybe forgotten or something. So I think it's good, but I think that's getting ahead of ourselves because I think we need to focus on what we're going to look at this month.
It's also Comic-Con just started, and some trailer releases have been released, and the big one for TV is Teen Titans. They just released a new trailer, and it's kind of interesting.
Is this the children's cartoon thing?
I think it's Teen Titans. 1 second. But it's a TV series. There's
live action.
Live action, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and it looks harsh. And it's just called Titans rather than Teen Titans, and it just looks serious and harsh. And do you know how when Daredevil came out, and it was like a new thing for superhero shows? This feels like a new thing as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's just harsh. It's just gritty, and it's just dark.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's something to probably in the next Minisode. I'll probably be talking more about my anticipation of that because it's not going to come out till next year.
Right.
But
so it's one to get excited about.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we wrap it up there?
Yeah.
So again, just to go over. So Glow. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. That's on Netflix.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch that before we review it, that's on Netflix. Same as Luke Cage is also on Netflix. Arrested Development also on Netflix, which hopefully we'll get round to at some point. So Netflix heavy month, which is good for Netflix viewers.
This episode was not supported by Netflix.
Yeah, not sponsored by. Yeah. And just to prove that point, we will get round to Goliath, which is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So we are mixing it a bit, but sadly no Now TV or Sky this month. But we have done quite a few Now TV shows, I think. So I think all's good in the world in terms of TV. Still, things being so many releases before we can get around to it.
Well, bad news about the BBC. They're worried that now that they basically do statistics like every I don't know how much time, but basically they've seen a dramatic drop in people watching live TV. And it's because of like streaming services and it's so BBC is going to be more strict and tighter on budgets, I think, in the coming future.
Yeah, that'd be a shame.
It'd be a shame, but also they might invest more in the bigger shows rather than lost. It's a shame for new TV makers and new indie stuff.
Yeah,
but when it comes to like the big stuff like
Peaky Blinders,
Doctor Who, and that stuff, they might actually go up. Because it might be more beneficial to invest in stuff which is guaranteed to succeed.
Well, maybe we need to look out for more BBC stuff.
Yeah, we could do.
We can try and keep a lookout.
Yeah.
Is there a new season of Doctor Who? You're going to make me watch Doctor Who soon?
I think we should watch an episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, we can do it.
It's a brand new season, brand new show, brand new cast, brand new crew. And it's for a new generation. You should be able to look at it completely new, and so it should be interesting. And the first female Doctor as well. So how they handle a female character.
Well, that's good for me because I don't think I'm going to go back and watch 10 seasons. Is it 10 seasons strong now, isn't it?
Of the new Who, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I only know that because it popped up on Netflix. Yeah. So Netflix has bought. Yeah. So if you do want to catch up on Doctor Who again, Netflix have got it all there.
Yeah. And also,
is it on iPlayer as well?
Yeah, it's on iPlayer. Okay. Yeah. Oh no, it isn't. No, it isn't.
No, because that's the thing about I think BBC missing a trick there. Like with iPlayer, they should perhaps have stuff on there permanently. Cause
Netflix don't release DVDs, but iPlayer do. But BBC do.
Yeah, but why would you buy a DVD when you can watch it on Netflix? I
the same people in a boardroom like, why would they buy your DVD when they can watch it?
I don't know.
Because many people don't have Netflix.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people like the ownership because Netflix is only temporary.
Yeah,
It might not be there forever.
Yeah, I get the sort of physical ownership of something.
As soon as they lose the deal with the BBC, the BBC say no, we need to boost iPlayer needs to go up. People need to watch iPlayer more.
Well, they need to make just in this is no criticism of the BBC, but my interactions with the iPlayer is not. It's not the best.
No.
And I think the biggest issue that I have with it is that you have to watch things within a certain amount of time before they disappear. And if you want to watch the first season of something, quite often it's not on there.
Yeah.
But the second season is. And, just.
Although what I do appreciate about the iPlayer, Now TV, and Amazon, it tells you when it's going to go off. It's like Amazon tells you like this is going to go off in 30 days, and also you get an email if you've been watching something and it's going to go off soon. They'll email you to say, oh, by the way, this TV show will go off soon.
Yeah.
With Now TV, it'll show you straight away, and with iPlay, it'll show you as well. Netflix don't. You'll think it's like what you said with Community. By the way, you can watch Community on Netflix. I'd say no, you can't. It just went. One day it was there, one day it wasn't. No warning, nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, but like also at the same time, having that countdown also makes you panic as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's maybe trying to get you into panic watching because you're like, oh, I've got to watch this before it goes, and then
maybe more notice, maybe like 1 month until this stuff goes, and
maybe
a month's notice. Well, no, 30 days notice. Yeah, they do give them.
Notice, so I think notice is a good thing, but and maybe it is there on Netflix somewhere, depending on what. Interaction you're using, because we watch it through like our quite old Virgin box now, and the interface on that is very different to the interface on your laptop or whatever. So sometimes it depends what you're watching it through.
I'm waiting for a new interface revolution because I think everybody had an issue with how Netflix and Amazon and Now TV, how they all store their stuff and how you can search through the stuff. But
won't it all just be voice stuff in the future, I guess?
Yeah, but it's all about advertising. That's if you know exactly what you want.
Well, they curate, don't they? They curate when... And this was an interesting... I think I was reading an article a while about this, which is quite interesting as to how streaming stats are much more difficult to work out than TV viewing.
Okay.
So there's all this. They know that 20 million people watch the semi-final of the World Cup or whatever.
Yeah.
Those stats are quite easy to analyze. Whereas with the streaming stuff, it's very difficult to know what is popular or not, because the stats aren't as readily available to the public, but also because the stream services can curate what you're watching a lot more. So if a show isn't popular, they can maybe force it to be popular by putting it at the front of your thing. Yeah. And it's that thing where they're always going to put forward their own shows, their exclusives first, and then you've got to sort of dig a little bit deeper to find these other shows, which is interesting because the OA, like as I recommended as a hidden gem, one of the reasons that I keep thinking about it being hidden is I don't see it on my Netflix screen anymore. So, I hope it's still there and it's still available to people. But then obviously they're not pushing that to the front. They're obviously pushing other shows at the moment. So it's interesting that you've got this, a show that wasn't popular can then become popular just by how it's sort of presented. Yeah. And then it's probably a catch-22 situation because it's probably also the shows that people are watching more, they push to the front more. And then it's like a, catch-22 situation.
Like the Crying Game. That came out, did poorly, and then he sold it to an American company. They advertised it. And that's a classic film. But if they didn't, people saw it, critics saw it, no one really cared that much. It's only because people push it in the right direction. Yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah, a lot of...
Like you watch old films now, thinking, it's a really good film. It just wasn't right for that time.
Yeah. Sometimes, but that's just... art, isn't it? It's just the nature, unfortunately, is that sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, you hit the nail on the head. Other times, you know, the nail is rusty before anybody takes notice of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes, you know, it just falls out and goes to the bottom of the... Nobody watches it.
No. Yeah.
You know,
For
so...
sure. Yeah.
Such is life, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah. To wrap this
so
up.
on that really happy note,
yeah.
let's shall we finish off this mini-sode?
Yeah. We'll see you in the next next podcast where we'll probably be talking about Arrested Development TV podcast. Will be Arrested Development
TV.
And
finally.
And the next film podcast we'll be talking about
Incredibles 2.
Yeah. So peace out.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.